What's up, gang? It's Jordan with Stud Pack, and welcome back to the channel. Crazy different start for the channel. I've never done an intro. It's been like 2 years. But the reason that I'm doing the intro is because, as you guys know, it was Dad's birthday recently. Actually, our last video on May 30th, it was his birthday. So we celebrated and had a good time. And me and my brother ordered him a gift. It didn't get here until yesterday or 2 days ago, little late. And I wanted to give it to him. I wanted to share it though, because I feel like it's something that a lot of you guys might be able to use as well. Maybe be able to use it as inspiration or something like that. So we're gonna head over to the job site right now, give it to him, see what he thinks, and maybe even put it in. And that'll make sense in a little bit here. So see you at the site. Hey, what's up, dude?
What you got there?
I got something for you.
My birthday present?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool, man.
So you probably don't recognize the brand,
No.
but that might give you a little clue. Turn dead space.
Is it for the garage? We got
You
lots of
wish.
dead space in the garage.
No, but it's for something else. Why don't you crack it open
All
and,
right.
and see what it is?
Ooh, look at that. Is that for the truck?
Yeah, dude.
Where does it go?
So this is an under-seat storage compartment for your truck. It goes in the back, underneath the back rear seats.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and I just think that's gonna be great for you, man.
Well, you know what a mess it is in there all
Well,
the
why
time.
don't we go look in there? What does it look like right now? Let's go look in there. Let's go check it out.
It's a disaster because somebody pulled in front of me and I ended up on the grass and everything went flying everywhere.
Oh man,
But that's usually what it looks like, right?
right.
You got my jumper cables and first aid kit.
All types of stuff.
So it fits right under here.
Yep, right under the seats.
That's totally wasted space.
It is.
Well, cool.
What do you say we take some of this stuff out and see if we can get that sucker in there?
You want to do it right now?
Let's do a little transformation.
5 minutes?
Yeah.
All right,
Let's do it.
All right.
Yep. Cool, man. Look at that. Immediate transformation. We're talking about tile floors and trim, but what about storage in the back seat?
That's awesome.
Yeah, fold it down. Let me see. How well does it? Oh man. Look at that. That's cool, man.
That's a great gift, man.
And then what is that? Like, you know, for like a baseball bat or a rifle maybe?
A swamp stick.
Ooh.
Yeah, let's figure out what we want to put in there.
Yeah, the orientation.
All right.
You might be able to put like a level here actually. Man, look at that, dude.
Check it out.
You got a whole storage system
lot
back
of
here.
room.
All of this was scattered throughout your truck.
Yeah, in the door pockets and everywhere
Yeah,
else.
just everywhere. But look, you got your straps here, all your gauges and your hoses and your jumpers.
And the instructions did say that the original jack, the factory jack, you can actually lower the spare tire in the back there, put this on top, and it'll ride on top of that.
Awesome.
Just wrap it up in some plastic or something so it doesn't get all messy.
Well, let's put the seats down, see how she looks.
All right. Can't even tell.
Well, that's great. I love that. That turned out awesome.
Yep.
Makes me want to like just deep clean this
Organize
thing.
everything.
Yeah, but we got some trim to install, don't we?
We sure do.
All right, well, let's get to it, huh?
Thanks for the present. Appreciate
Yep.
it, bud.
Love you.
Love you. Hey gang, welcome back to our channel. I'm Paul with Stud Pack. In our previous video, you saw Jordan and I do a lot of things, but mainly we hooked up this faucet on our farm sink, and we had a few comments about it. So let's start right there, address those comments, and I'll show you what we did. One of the questions that we had, and your comments answered, was, should this lever go forward or back? In other words, is cold forward or is cold back the way that it came from the factory? The consensus was cold is forward. Imagine you had a young child, they can barely reach the faucet, they grab it, turn the water on, it's gonna be cold and they're not gonna get scalded by hot water. I love that solution, so I got underneath there, swap the hoses, we're good to go. The other comment was on the weight that pulls this hose back up like that. I put it in the wrong spot. Honestly guys, I didn't even notice that tape. I think I was so preoccupied with just getting out of there after Jordan doused me with all the water.
Yeah,
I just wanted to put a dry shirt on. I wanted to get out of there, but I moved it and it works great. So it looks like I'm going home tonight, sending out some emails to like the 5 previous clients and telling them, hey, guess what? I'm coming over because I got to move that thing. That'll bug me. The other thing I did this morning has to do with this peninsula. Now, as you remember from previous videos, the original design called for it to come out about that far. Well, now it comes out this far. And that's fine. We had that custom steel frame made. Everything worked great. And this is going to evolve just like this microwave right here. we've got to figure out a way to make this microwave fit in there in a spot it wasn't designed for, just like we have to make this work over here. Happens all the time on projects, no big deal. I love a good challenge, and so does Jordan. So we're going to find out a solution for this and this microwave and that hood, everything else in this project, so it's perfect. The other thing I did yesterday, I actually put a coat of paint on all the walls. A lot of you have been asking me about that color from the previous project we did in here. It's actually bare marquee, interior eggshell enamel, and this color is sheet gray, and it's at 50%. That means they only add 50% of the colorant to this paint, and it's much lighter, and it's perfect for this project. Now you notice I got my finishing apron on. Jordan had it initialed for me, and that means we're around in third base, and we are finishing this project. We got tile, floors, trim. Tiles on the backsplash, 1 day instant transformation. These floors, we just did a whole house, so we kind of got our floor gears going in our mind. I bet we can do this in 1 day, maybe a little longer, but instant transformation. The trim we're gonna start today, instant transformation. The lighting, because of all the prep work we did, we just have to drill the holes and hook to the wires. Put in our switches, again, instant transformation. So from here on out, it's gonna go super fast. I went to my trim shop this morning, my millwork shop, got all the trim this morning, strapped it to the top of my truck because they were super backed up and couldn't deliver for like 2 days. That was kind of sketchy, but I made it here. I like going to a millwork shop because I can get 17-foot pieces of casing. One 17-footer will do most doors. And then of course all the crown and base, 16-footers. So I've already got our saw set up outside. Let's head out there and check it out. All right, gang, here's our setup. Now you may recognize these from previous projects we've done on our channel. I actually built these like 2 years ago for the very first project we ever did on our channel. And it was one of those temporary things, but I learned long ago, when you do something temporarily to me is 20 years. Now, hopefully I won't have these 20 years. I actually have an idea in my head of new wings to build for a saw that don't have any wood in them and no steel. All aluminum, stainless steel, and plastic. Because when they're riding around the back of my truck and we get one of these surprise rainstorms, if it's wood, it's done, it's trash. So stay tuned for a miter saw extension wing table build. I'm not sure when it's gonna be, but that's something I really need. That's gonna be super.
Yeah, we use these things all the time. What's the alternative?
Well, it's common for finish carpenters to have special supports. There's all kind of companies that make them. They can be 8 feet long, even longer than that. But you know what? I've got a $250,000 support.
Really?
Yep.
A $250,000 support?
I do. Actually, I have 4 of them.
How come I've never seen it?
I'm looking at it. $250,000 to raise a kid these days, right?
Wow. All the way up until what, adulthood?
17, I think.
Wow.
Yep, so you're worth a $250,000, bud.
Okay, cool, man.
But the main thing you gotta know is the top of the wood has to flush out with the top of this. Otherwise, your trim's gonna be doing this, and you're not gonna get a square cut, and that's what it's all about right now. So before we start installing baseboard, let's head back inside, and we'll show you a few steps we're gonna take to make it easier to install that base.
All right, gang, so we're inside here, and this is our next stretch of base that we have to run. So we just do a couple of things, like Dad said, in order to prepare ourselves to install like the most accurate base. Dad's out there cutting, I'm in here installing. So essentially the first thing that I do is I take these are rare earth magnets. Dad loves these things. He looks new. Did you just get these?
I did. They're fresh out of the vial they come in.
All right, well, I'll try not to break them because they break easily.
They do.
So we take these rare earth magnets. You could use a stud buddy or any stud finder, really. We just like these.
Yeah, they make a bunch of them that have batteries, but the fewer things that have batteries, the better to me.
Yeah, the battery powered ones give you some trouble sometimes. So we take these rare earth magnets, we just rub them around the wall until we find a stud. It has resistance when you go over a screw or a nail. So look, it's on the wall right there, it's on a screw. So I come down and I just mark that stud with the pencil. And essentially that just tells us where we need to nail the base, because you always want to be going into studs. So we do that throughout the entire project where we need to find a stud.
Yep.
And so then we have these nail pullers. We love these things. They're just nail pullers. So we're gonna go around and pull all the nails because, as you guys know, there's always another nail to be pulled.
Yep.
Up until like the last day. You're
Yep.
always finding them. So we just keep these handy. And the last thing that we do is we have this stiff bladed putty knife. Very little flex, very little flex. More flex than our countertop.
I think so.
So we come down here and there's a bunch of like dried drywall compound and dust and paint and just all these different materials from over the course of the project.
Acoustic from the ceiling we scrape,
Right.
running down the walls.
It's all down there.
Yep.
So we just take the stiff bladed putty knife and we just go ahead along the edges and we're scraping it, and we're also scraping the floor kind of like, I would say 4 or 5 inches out, Just because when we're installing flooring, we just don't want anything in the way.
Yeah.
And there's also, we're using these spacer blocks to install our base. We'll show you guys those in a little bit. But we don't want anything in the way of the spacer blocks. We're just trying to keep it as clean as possible.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's pretty much all we're doing. So you ready to start cutting and running and
Yes, sir.
coping and nailing and scraping and...
And you heard Jordan mention coping, so I cope the inside corners. We've shown you that before.
Yeah. All right, well, let's kick it into montage mode and get this stuff installed.
Cool, dude. Alrighty guys, we've shown you copes before. We're gonna walk you through one real quick. My saw is over to the left, detent for 45 degrees, and I'm cutting the cope on the left end of my piece. The piece is upside down. We're gonna show you why in a minute. We're gonna make a 45-degree cut that end off. Now this is a small job. I don't mind coping, I kind of enjoy it. So I could cope this with my coping saw, but we're just gonna cope it with this saw while it's set up upside down. All right, that's a back bevel of about 5 degrees. A classic move by a Finnish carpenter is using their thumb to pull up the fence guard. And then you'll notice I did not stop the saw at the bottom of the cut because it's going to jerk from the momentum of the motor and ruin my cut. Come up, turn the saw off. All right, now slide this down here to the right and we'll finish our coat. The first cut I'm going to make, I'm going to cut to right here, clear that piece. The second cut I'm going to make is starting here where my finger is. Then I'll trim the end. So right here, I'm going to start square because you're going to see that. And then as soon as I start cutting, I'm going to angle the saw a little bit. Just like the angle we had on the miter saw. I have this half round file. That's what I use to clean it up. I don't think we need much, bud. Got my test piece. That one's okay. Not great. I overcut a little bit. All right, our cope is made on the left-hand end of the board. Let's bring it inside. We have an outside miter over there. We're gonna bring it in and mark that. All righty, gang, this piece goes right here to the left of our peninsula. We already did our cope. The cope is on the left for me. Since I'm right-handed, I work clockwise around the room, and I cope the left-hand end of the pieces. So now we're gonna measure it for length. I've got a scrap right here on the end of this wall. Now all I have to do is pull a measurement from the face of that baseboard to the face of this one, and that's gonna be the outside of our miter. 79.5. I think 79.5 is good, bud.
Yeah, me too.
Right there, perfect. All right, 79.5. Since we've already coped this into the baseboard and it's gonna sit tight against the piece we just measured against, I can just hook my tape right there and pull my measurement, 79.5. Right there, and that's gonna be the long point of our miter. Alrighty gang, it's the next day. We're back at our project, continuing with our interior trim. We ran about 15 pieces of base yesterday, just right here in this little nook in the pantry and the laundry room. There's like twice as many pieces, but of course they're all short. So a little more work over here, but before we can continue earning base, we have to put this casing up so we have somewhere for the base to die into. But before we put the casing up, we got to put in our jambs, our bumper jamb and our split jambs for these pocket doors. But before we do that, Jordan and I thought it would be cool to paint all the track up here. And actually you can see some of the rough framing. So I think we're gonna get a rattle can, spray paint that black, and that'll all just disappear when we get the hardware and the door hung up on here. So why don't we grab our rattle can, make a little cardboard shield, and spray this. And maybe even down here, Jordan, what do you think?
I think we should just put black paint everywhere we can. You know what, actually, let's go get the gold can.
Spray it gold? Yeah, I can imagine the comments on that one.
All right, let's do it, man.
All right. All right, guys, got all that painted, and that looks great. It only took a minute. And check this out. We actually hung this door already. We have one more we're going to show you. But check that out when it's closed. Nice and dark up there. And then of course when the split jamb's installed, you won't see any of that at all. When you open the door, you're not going to get any shiny metal or unfinished wood up there. It'll all be black. So we've got our second pocket door on top of the trash can. And the instructions want the edge of the hanger to be 2 3/4 from the edge. So I marked it here, I marked it there. Now let's install this hardware on top of the door first. We're going to mark these slots so we can pre-drill. And it's important to understand which way these go. See the latch right here that keeps the trolley engaged in this hanger? They obviously need to be facing the same direction. You wouldn't want to do that. That would be a mess. So we're going to do it this way so the door comes off of the hangers in the direction of the laundry room. If we did it on this side, it would hit that desk that we installed. And on the pantry door, it's going to come off in the direction of inside the pantry. So let me mark these slots. We'll pre-drill, mount these hangers, and put this door on the trolleys. Now you don't want to do it like that with 4 wheels on one side and 2 wheels on the other side. They go like that, 3 wheels on each side of the track. They give you room here in the end to slide that in. All right, let's grab the door and hang it.
There you go.
Right there.
Got it.
Nope,
Oh, a little more. Got it. Cool.
All right, both doors are up and we've got them plumb. I'm using the adjustment on here, the little wrench they give you. We all know about these, right? So we got the doors plumb because we're going to reference the door when we install our bumper jambs. I call this one a bumper jamb because the doors are going to bump into it. And the head jamb and this side jamb are split jambs, obviously because they have to be cut in half to make room for the pocket door. So let's go outside. I'll show you the stock I bought, why I bought the particular stock I bought, and cut this one in length 82 3/8. All right, here's the stock I bought. 4 9/16 door jamb material. It's door jamb material because it's rounded here and here and square on the back too. So my door shop was out of this material or I would have bought it when I got all the base and casing and crown. They've ordered a pallet of it. It's been on back order for a month. And they actually told me go to the home centers and they had it. They had this and one other style I'm going to tell you about. And we've heard that the home centers actually, they don't own the mills, but they have priority with the mills. So they always have material where the private independent shops may not. So that's kind of crazy right now. I hope all that changes soon. So like I said, this is MDF and it's polymer coated. They had a big sign there bragging about the polymer coating. It's pretty thick and that it's not paint, but obviously we're gonna paint it. These are 8 feet long. My other option was 81 inches long, finger jointed pine, wrapped in a pine veneer. Since I knew I wanted to notch the top of this, I knew that those 81-inch pieces were gonna be too short. That's why I opted for the MDF. And I also felt like that pine might start twisting on me after we rip it to make the split jambs. So now that I explained all that, let's cut one of these to 82 3/8 and bring it inside and measure for that notch. remember, we hung this door and it's perfectly plumb, and we're using this as a reference to get our door jamb in. We close the door, it's hitting at the bottom first. So that's where we're gonna start. And then we're gonna build this up with shims as we work our way to the top and get the door jamb perfectly flush against the side of the door. I'm using my square, the framing's just a little bit twisted. So now I'm square right here. I've got one shim in there. I'm gonna push all the way up so our notch is touching the top of the door frame. I've got my 15 gauge nailer with 2.5 inch nails going kind of big because this thing's gonna get bumped into a lot with that door. Just using my fingers as like a feeler gauge, make sure I have an even reveal on both sides. And let's nail it off. And I'm gonna put 5 shims there. Bottom, top, middle, and then here and here. That'll be nice and strong. All right, there's our 5 shims, 2 nails through each one. And check it out, gang. Using the door as a reference. Beautiful. Now let's trim these off, get a measurement for our split jambs, and go out to the saw stop and cut those and install them. All right, guys, we finished this side. Let me walk you through what we did. It's really the same process as putting this side on. We're using the door as our reference, shimming these out as required, 5 on each side, making them flush with the door because it's hanging plumb in the opening. We already confirmed that. 2 3/16 inch spacers just to get your reveals the same all the way up and down. Once that was done, we cut the split jamb for the top of the door. This one's nailed on, and this one we put 2 screws on the inside of the pantry, so you'll never see them when the door's closed. And that'll all get painted white anyway. And this piece will easily come down to adjust and remove the door. A couple more little details. The bumper is already on this door, and you see it goes too far back by 9/16 of an inch. So when we take this door down to paint it, we'll put a little block on the back of the door so that when it's open, it's flush right here. And of course, also when we take down the door, we'll put on the hardware because it's all back ordered right now. The last little detail is these guides for the bottom of the door. So it doesn't do that. They just keep the door centered in the opening. We may put them there or we may try to hide them. We'll determine that at the finish stage, but that's what those are for. So this door is basically ready for casing. So I say we kind of clean up our mess, Jordan, and do this one. This is the one I've been waiting for. This piece of jamb has to be rabbited on both sides. It's gonna sit in back here and the rabbit's gonna cover the drywall, and that's it for that side. And then these 2 split jambs, I think it's gonna be pretty easy.
Let's do it, man.
All right, let's go outside and cut that guy. Using a saw as a plane.
I like using the table saw as a plane.
Does a good job.
The table saw does an awesome job.
And it's pretty safe.
Yeah, it is safe.
With that cross-cut sled.
Hey, that's pretty sweet, dude.
Way back in the framing stage, we planned this.
I think there's a drawing of this specific piece in that frame.
In the pantry?
Yeah. Let's go see how she fits. Dang, son.
Just like we planned it 2 months ago, huh? So if you haven't seen that video, this door perfectly aligns with that door. We intentionally did this without the casing on this side to make this pantry as big as we could. Those 2 things came together right here. You can see when we installed the drywall, we allowed for the installation of this piece. We put a rabbet to cover here. The thickness of the remaining piece is pretty close to what I wanted, 3/16. That's our reveal. And of course we notched it to hide that bracket. We had to plane the back to clear all those screws. Well, that fits sweet.
And now we get to paint it gold.
That's right. Let's put this up, put up our head casing, and check it out. Alrighty guys, we got our split jamb installed on this side.
Looks awesome.
It does. No shims. It was perfectly plumb and flush with the door. But check this out. We were kind of in a groove, want to get it done. We weren't thinking as far ahead as we needed to be, but look what happened. No good.
You know, we should have known something was up when we were using no shims.
When it was going so easy,
Yeah.
That's when you know something's wrong. So we're gonna pry these off, and we're gonna have to put shims behind here, pull this out. Little setback, but we'll get it fixed. All right, we got that all fixed up, no problem. We did it just like we did that one. We used the door because it's already plumb and level as a guide. Put in these shims almost a ½ inch as we got closer to the bottom. Our reveal was perfect, and then check this out when I close it. Boom,
Nice. And look, I can see right through into the laundry room. That's how, you know. What's up, dude?
Yeah, well, some casing will take care of that. So why don't we clean up this mess and start running casing?
Please, let's do it.
I'm ready. Alrighty gang, we got the casing on this door up. I really wanted to get this one done to see what it looks like with this special feature we had to do on this side. Now
Man, it looks so good.
Yeah, this casing is real wood. All the base and crown of this job is MDF, but I really like working with this wood trim. It's so nice. And on this piece here, this bumper jamb, we used 1¼ nails into the blocking at the pocket door and also construction adhesive. Because we got that pocket door running in there, 2½ inch nail would have ruined our day. And I'm loving the way we extended the jambs up into the track so you can't see the framing at all. It looks super cool right here. We may even paint the top part of that black. And I love the way the black looks on the track and everything, just makes it go into the shadows. So that's gonna be a wrap for this video, gang. And you know, me and Jordan have been looking at your like button. It looks a little crooked next to your subscribe button, which is always parallel and perfect and square. Put some shims between the two, get that like button perfect, smash it for us, subscribe if you haven't already, ask us a question, drop us a comment, and we will see you on our next video.